Bridges aren't supposed to collapse, floodwaters aren't meant to swallow entire streets, and festivals shouldn't end in stampedes. But in India, year after year, and especially in 2025, it's happening. And nobody seems shocked anymore. What we're looking at isn't a few isolated accidents. This is a national crisis, an epidemic of poor infrastructure and decades of neglect. And the people paying the price? Regular, hardworking Indians. This video doesn't hold back. Let's get straight into it. Just a few days ago, on July 9th, 2025, Gambhira Bridge collapsed in Gujarat. Just before dawn on that day, commuters from Vadodara started queuing across the 40-year-old Gambhira Bridge over the Mahisagar River. They had school runs to make, shops to open, deliveries to complete, samosas to sell. At around 7:30 in the morning, a 20-foot concrete slab snapped away without warning. Vehicles, 5 in total, along with 2 motorbikes, plunged into the raging river below. 17 people died, including 2 toddlers, 3 women, and a delivery rider. 4 others are still missing. Over 30 people were injured. Rescuers from the National Disaster Response Force and local fire crews braved strong currents and sludge to pull bodies and vehicles from the wreckage. A local fruit vendor said, "I heard a loud crack just before the ground disappeared beneath me." That sound echoes not just on that bridge, but across the country. But Modi isn't listening. In fact, he's trying to sweep it under the rug. Here's the kicker. The bridge was flagged unsafe in 2021. Engineers and state government reports said the concrete was crumbling, steel reinforcements were exposed, and load-bearing capacity was down by 30%. That report was filed, then ignored. Officials even shelved funds earmarked for repairs to chase fancy bullet train contracts. Not until after bodies floated downstream did they suspend 4 engineers. Good luck rebuilding families, scumbags. And a few months ago, in March 2025, Patna flyover collapse in Bihar. Heavy rain, 125 millimeters in less than 24 hours, poured down over Patna. That's not unusual. What was predictable? A flyover with visible cracks and bulging pillars failing beneath cars and trucks mid-commute. At least 24 people died when a chunk of roadway buckled and fell 20 meters under the weight of traffic. One witness said, "I saw cracks widening every week, but no one did anything." An engineer wept on camera, saying the flyover was built too quickly, and they'd begged for safety audits. None were granted. Instead, they got delayed permits and low-cost tenders that kept pushing quality further down. When you build fast and cheap, the foundation gives out. What about May 2025 Morbi's return collapse in Gujarat? 3 years after the Morbi suspension bridge disaster that took 135 lives, Gujarat tried again. A renewed bridge opened on the same river, but without full stress testing. Critics said it lacked load certificates. A local official joked, though no one was laughing, that we ran out of printers to print the safety certificate. Poor joke. In May, the span gave way again during peak foot traffic. Dozens plunged into the Machu River. Reports say over 45 were injured, with a dozen fatalities. Survivors spoke of wood planks cracking under weight, muddy waters drowning screams, all because someone thought certifications were optional. A tragic sequel, a rehash of avoidable misery, and nothing about never again, because they never learn. Let's very briefly look at some older collapses that are still haunting today, because these 2025 disasters aren't outliers. They're part of a long timeline. October 2022, Morbi 135 killed, 55 children among them. 2016, Kolkata Vivekananda flyover, 26 killed, several dozen injured when an underpass collapsed during rush hour. 2003, Damanganga Bridge, Daman 30 school children died when the span collapsed underfoot on a rainy day. January 2020, Kari River Bridge, Masana under maintenance partially caved in. 3 major collapses in 2025 alone, plus decades of disasters. Same causes, same victims, same excuses. By this point in time, you can call it a tradition. India, #1 superpower in bridge collapses. What a sad state of affairs. Now let's look beyond bridges. Monsoon mayhem. Bridges don't fall alone. India floods every year. It isn't just nature, it's neglect. In 2023, over 2,000 people died countrywide from flood and flood-related incidents such as landslides, electrocutions, and disease outbreaks. North India, April to August, 422 deaths alone. Kerala landslides 2024, 50-plus fatalities. Tamil Nadu's cyclone landslip, 44 dead. Himachal cloudburst in June 2025, 78 confirmed deaths. Why? Because drainage systems laid by the British for a few 100,000 residents now serve tens of millions. Sewers, gutters, canals, all suffocate under plastic waste and uncollected garbage. Engineers in 2024 warned that drainage needs to handle 500 millimeters per day, not 150, yet cities spent billions on smart street lamps instead. All show and no function, like Modi's 56-inch chest. Reminds me of the Mumbai 2005 floods, which killed over 1,000 people. The same canals, the same officials, the same PR campaign. Every year, new death toll, same excuses, same crumbling foundations. And who could forget the famous deadly Stampedes, January 2024? Uttar Pradesh religious festival, over 60 pilgrims crushed after a flimsy wooden bridge collapsed. No crowd control barriers, no medics, just mob panic, and no one in charge. Train station crushes? Happens nearly every month. Lack of policing, no holding areas, broken escalators funneling crowds into bottlenecks. Why no crowd management plans? Because leadership thinks people know what to do. No, they panic, they stampede. They don't see the world from a bird's eye view. The cost of doing nothing. Here's the math. 600,000 bridges in India. 40% in critical shape, meaning 240,000 risk zones. 3 major collapses in 7 months. It's guaranteed that more will come without repairs. Over 2,000 flood deaths per year. This isn't just a tragedy, it's neglect of infrastructure. Stampedes, hundreds die, likely thousands injured, but there's no national database because no one tracks them. Still, the Indian annual infrastructure maintenance budget is peanuts. They build skyscrapers, toll plazas, bullet trains, but can't afford guardrails, drainage upgrades, working toilets, or certified auditors. Now let's compare their policies globally. Starting with China, inspects bridges every 5 years, audits cracks using drones, and controls crowds at train stations. Japan retrofits aging structures with seismic sensors and early warning systems. Keep in mind that Japan sits on the ring of fire and has lots of seismic activity. Singapore, Thailand, Vietnam, real-time flood monitors, public flood alerts, clean drains free of trash. Canada, Germany. Any bridge over 30 years old gets a structural review and retrofit if needed. That's bureaucracy done right / India, it builds new things with fanfare, then lets the old skeletons collapse privately. Brag on WhatsApp about building a 90-degree bridge, but keep stum when it inevitably collapses. Let's not mince words. These are the reasons such failures occur. Corruption. Contractors get team orders, lowest bid wins, lowest quality follows. Reports vanish. Locals fear reprisal if they speak out. Delayed audits. Engineers told to fudge inspection results or issue 6-month repairs that never happen. File and forget. Tanks get built, audits filed, and then no one checks until tragedy. Election season spree. Bridge builds quiver before election cycles. Safety never glimmers in budgets. Political theater, press conference in bathrobe and slippers at disaster sites. We promise vigilance, then proceed to ignore everything. The cycle feeds itself. Storm to disaster, to media frenzy, to politician photo op, to nothing. Changes to waiting for the next disaster. Then the whole cycle starts again. So what policies can India implement to fix this shit? Annual third-party inspections, every bridge over 20 years old, no exceptions. Maintenance trust fund, not political discretionary funds. Money ring-fenced and audited by Lokpal. Transparent contracts, bidders ranked, lowest isn't always winner. Penalize quality, cut corners seriously. Emergency retrofitting, all critical bridges must be reinforced within 6 months. Crowd control regulations, any event, 1,000 people, mandatory barriers, trained staff, medics, and exits, drainage overhaul initiatives, funds allocated by population zones, no replacing drains with roads, public oversight portal, families, activists, engineers post issues, officials must reply or be sanctioned, accountability laws, ignoring defect reports becomes a crime, equipment must pass safety tests. These steps might cost a little money, but what's the cost of 2,000 lives a year? What's the cost of hundreds more crushed or drowned? You really think India should be pumping billions into moon missions when shit like this still happens monthly? This is the bitter truth. India's infrastructure crisis isn't something we can blame on fate or climate. It's an indictment of a system that sidelines safety, encourages corruption, and celebrates grandeur while the basics rot. If flashing lights and fast trains are more important than your child's safety on the walk to school, this problem will never get fixed. You'll just wake up to another collapsed bridge and another news cycle, to all Indians watching. Next time you cross a flyover or bridge, look for cracks, report them, screenshot them, send them to your MP. Spread videos and stories of failures and not on how India is a superpower. Outrage only matters when it hits the public consciousness. Vote for accountability. Vote for funding audits. Don't vote for slogans. Support organizations fighting for safer roads such as PRS India, Transparency International India, and local infrastructure watchdogs. If you feel angry after watching this, then well done. It means you have standards. If you found this video insightful, then please like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.